morning, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome everybody here this morning to this very special breakfast where we celebrate many of our boxers and our clubs once again this year. It's a morning where we reflect, I suppose, on the past year and look at the contribution that the clubs have made and the individuals within the clubs. I'd like to welcome everybody here this morning, including Chocolate Dollar, Thomas Gould, who's here, I think, at his first breakfast, and you're very welcome, Tom, this morning. Everybody else, you all know who I am, and I know who ye are. That's what Jesus said one time. Jesus said, ye all know me, and I know my own. Well, I know my own here this morning, and that's the most important thing. I'd like to think that we're celebrating our Club of the Year this morning. We're honouring an individual that's done outstanding and Trojan service for Cork boxing over many years. And we're honouring 3 members of clubs who work at committee level and who have strove might and main to help that club and help the sport of boxing. Involved this morning as well is the presentation of the cup by Dan O'Connell, the Victor Aston Cup. Now, the Victor Aston Cup is a very important cup in the history of Cork boxing. Victor Aston was a man who gave and made a great contribution to Cork in the 60s and the 70s, and particularly at a time when the sport had completely waned. If anybody read the Echo on Thursday night, they'd have seen the full history, more or less in a short way, of what Victor had achieved. Along the road, Dan O'Connell was with him. Dan is the sponsor here this morning. We're delighted to have Victor's daughter, Vicky, and her daughter and her granddaughter with us this morning. So a very warm welcome for the Astons. I'd like now everybody to enjoy their breakfast and then we'll make the presentations after that. Very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we were actually at a dinner last night in the Metropole Hotel. That event last night had a man representing boxing, and he got the award for the indoor sports, an outstanding character in his own right. You all know him very, very well. He's done tremendous amount of work for boxing down through the years, and particularly over the last 12 years with his own club in Cork. And that is, and I want everybody to give a complete appreciation and a huge tap for Shane Ford Cork. Thank you very much indeed. This morning, once again, the breakfast was served absolutely magnificently by a fabulous staff under fabulous management. It was absolutely, once again, as we all say about coming here to the Musgrave Arms, it's actually, I suppose, it's an endorsement of what we believe in. First-class quality, first-class food, first-class service, and a warm welcome. And we'd like to thank the 2 brothers, Gary O'Connor and Jerome O'Connor, and their staff for once again providing an excellent breakfast. This morning we have as our guest this morning Chocolate Dollar, Northside man, a man who's been very involved in boxing with the clubs and assisting them in many ways, or in any way he can over the years, and particularly with the Golden Gloves Club. I call on now to say a few words to you. Chocolate Dollar, Thomas Gould, the mother.
Yes, great to be able to just sitting down here talking. I had a speech written out, but then Mick said, you can't say who the winners are because that'll be announced afterwards, right? So that's my speech, I know. Well, it was funny, we were sitting down there talking, and I remember years ago, like I'm involved with Vincent's, right? And in the winter, you go down to Falvies and you do the training down there, the circuits and the gym and what have you. And I remember being down there, the Joyce brothers be there, Mickey Roach, Davy Dunley, rest his soul, because his brothers Mickey and Tony were involved with Vincent's, and there was always a fierce crossover back then. It was fair the Hurricanes and different clubs in the north. I know, like when you look at the strength of boxing now, the likes of Golden Gloves, you've got Mayfield, you have Brian Dillon, you have the Glen, You know, you're far the Horgans now, you've Sunnyside down the north side. I was always wondering how we managed to get them up. You know what I mean? Across the bridge. But like it's really going strength to strength. And when you look at the younger ones now, and especially the girls, Leah now and Ellie Murray, like the one criticism I would have of the boxing is she was a fucking brilliant camogie player. And the clash was and the clash was the same night. But you always see over the years, like there was a lad I played with, no, Barry Coots. If a fella could box, he could hurl. If you could box, you could play any sport. You know what I mean? There was something about the eye-hand coordination. It's in boxing, it's in anything. And listen, there's brilliant clubs there at the moment. The one thing, and I won't be political, but the one thing I think we need investment. Clubs are struggling at the moment, trying to pay for halls, trying to pay for hiring rooms, right? And I know Mick O'Brien and I know the committee have done a pile of work over the years. And I was only talking to Mick a few weeks ago. We need a centre of excellence in Cork. And we also need facilities that clubs don't have to rent, that they can own them. And whilst the minute you own a piece of land or a building, you can apply for grants, for funding. And like, to be fair to the Glen, massive up in the Glen now, to be fair now. But every club should have a facility like what the Glen Boxing Club have. If we want to build boxing in Cork, and like you look at how successful boxing is in the Olympics and the World Champions and the European Champions, like it's from an international level, boxing is our most successful sport. But then boxers and boxing clubs, if it's not for the people who are involved, for the love of it. And I know I'm up with Vincent's now, the likes of Vincey Stokes now, Tommy Collins, Willie Mack. You have a handful of people running it. And the one thing, and I would say to Mick and what I would say to the committee and all the clubs, what we need now is investment in standalone buildings like what the Glen have, and every club. Because if you have a building, there's clubs telling me how they're going to pay the rent every month, how they're going to pay the light and the insurance, all that stuff. Like, you shouldn't have to worry about that. You should have to worry about getting your athletes ready, how you're going to train them, what's the next best thing. That's what you should be focused on. And like, I know for years in Vincent, that was always the thing. I was the chairman for 10 years, and the one thing I did before we finished, we cleared the debt. And when I stepped down as chairman of the club, we were mortgage free. So at least you know who comes after you. And then looking around here, I see people here. Fucking looking at Tom there. Like, I don't want to say you're old, no, Tom, like, but you're around a long time. Am I wrong? And to be fair, there's people who have given their life to boxing. I'm delighted to be here today. Mick Nugent and Kenneth Collins and them, they're up in Galway today canvassing for the by-election. But I said I'm making my business today because of the respect I have for boxing, the respect I have for the people in it and the sport. And like, I would love to see, in the next few years, Cork County Board get a piece of land and we put a plan together to have a centre of excellence. Because I tell you, if we got that in Cork, there'd be nothing stopping us. How could I be in Bahamas?
We're here this morning to celebrate the people who have made great contributions to our sport on Lee's side. So, the first recipient of our award this morning from the East Cork Club, I'm delighted to say thank you and acknowledge our appreciation to Mary O'Flynn. The next recipient is somebody who has done quite a lot in recent times, but to acknowledge her outstanding contribution in the past, this award goes to Vance O'Connell. Now, the next award we're presenting this morning is to a man who's done absolutely outstanding work for Cork boxing over the years. He boxed initially with the Glen. He then went on and became a member of the Munster Council and the Cork County Board. He then became a referee, a judge of local fame, of Central Council fame, and of national fame. And he's a man who I have always come to rely on as a friend, and as a great supporter, and as a strong man of the board. And Tommy Keller was coming out of, last week out of Killarney, the stadium, Fitzgerald Stadium in Killarney, following the Munster final, and he ran into the Taoiseach. And Martin was coming along the road with him, and he said, and Tommy said, there's a breakfast on Saturday morning. Will you be there? And Martin said, no, sure, he has his Ardèche, but who's being honoured? And I got a phone call during the week from the Taoiseach, and he said, will you convey my best wishes, he said, to this man on the day? And I said, I will, of course. And that man is the man we're honouring this morning, the one and only John Casey. John Casey, ladies and gentlemen. The club that have been the past winner in the past year, when they're handing back the cup, we're going to give them a presentation every year as they give back the cup of a plaque outlining their success as winners of the Victor Aston Cup. So this morning I'd ask the two lads in the Mayfield Club badge, I'd Peter to come up. Thanks. It's very easy if you were watching what was going on over the last couple of months. A club that have won a lot of championships, a lot of that has produced a lot of senior boxers, elite boxers, under 19 boxers, juvenile boxers and underage boxers. Champions in every grade, produced international winners and produced two boxers, one after the other, that won the Paddy Martin Cup. What a magnificent achievement. Two senior boxers, one after the other, to win the Paddy Martin Cup. There's no doubt in my mind who the winners of this year are, and I'm delighted to declare that the 2026 winners of the Victor Aston prestigious cup are, do you know the way I always leave a big long? See, I'm waiting for the drum roll. Golden Doves! And I call on the proud sponsor now, a man who has been president of the Cork County Board and president of the Munster Council and done an awful lot of work for boxing down through the years, the great Dan O'Connell, to present the cup. And we're all family members today. So I'm going to ask now the management to come out with a cake to mark the 30th anniversary of Vance and Paul O'Connell. We're the only community that can sing loud and sing long after sausages. And this morning, we have our guest again here this morning, and he's going to sing again for us this morning. He's the one and only, the Bird Cabinet. Away, lad.
No New Year's Day to celebrate, no chocolate-covered candy hearts to give away, no first of spring, no song to sing. In fact, it's just another ordinary day. No April rain, no flowers bloom, no wedding Saturday within the month of June. But what it is something true, made up of these three words that I must say to you. I just called to say I love you. Woo! I just called to say how much I care. I just called to say I love you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart.